but that's why I was like, oh, I have power now. Someone told me I was wrong on someone else's video. I hope that was in there in the recording for the start of this thing, because I started a stream and then I said that. But yeah, I commented on this video and somebody told me I'm wrong. Yes, Fate Fandom, give me more. Your content gives me life. The arguments that are to be had, give me more power.
You exude a threatening aura.
Yes, I'm so threatening because I don't seriously try to. But anyway, so nobody's here yet, but I might as well do an introduction. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of TMI. That's Type Moon Information for short. Not the other kind of TMI, but it does feel like that some way, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we do go into too much information.
Yeah, we do. So we're breaking it up a bit. We're taking a break from the characters, mostly because Cherry could not pick a character. I'm currently in between Arcuade and Lancelot, mostly because I feel like those have two interesting subjects we can talk about with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Arcuade, because she's a very important character in the Type Moon thing, and she's got a couple of shticks that go with her. Lancelot.
Also, she totally doesn't have a video game coming up.
Yeah, she totally doesn't have a video game coming out. No, she totally doesn't have two video games coming out. Yeah. Because, surprise, a new version of Melty Blood is happening. Surprise! We're getting another version! That was out of nowhere.
Is this just the thing with Tsukihime? It's like there's no build up to these announcements. They just drop at random.
They just drop. We're getting Melty Blood again. They're doing. Actually, I believe a new one was posted today. I believe they showed off Arc today, because they're like dropping a new character trailer, everything. Come on, we need to work today too. Yes, we need to work today. Basically, today we're going to be reacting to Gigook's video. I'm going to try and pause it at certain points whenever me and Azure have a thing to say about what's being said, because I watched it and I'm like, yes but no in some things that he says, because I'm like, but I may be and I'm like, but listen, I'm not an authority on Type Moon. Gigook is also not an authority on Type Moon. Nobody is an authority on Type Moon. Nobody interprets anything correctly in this, from what we understand, because Natsu is a I don't know how to explain how he writes, but
he's essentially an unreliable source, despite being the primary source.
Yes, he is very unreliable when it comes to what is happening in his own story. So we're gonna react to this video and see parts. Basically, I'm gonna see like what parts do I think I've interpreted differently from Gigook, and because basically I don't want people to think that his word is law in the Type Moon universe just because he's like big authority Type Moon fan.
And nor is ours.
Nor is ours. This is just what I want. This is just how I want to show you all that how easily it is to interpret things differently in the Type Moon thing with the information that is presented to us.
It's like the Bible.
Yeah, it is like the Bible. In fact, the Bible is important to Type Moon too. Anyway, okay, here we go. Let me know if the volume is too loud, chat people. I am dumb, deaf, and blind, so I need you all to guide me in the correct way.
In between all the games, anime, manga, light novel, visual novels, spin-offs, it's probably one of the most daunting franchises for
We're looking at Gigook's video.
A little while ago, I made a joke skit called Trying to Understand the Fate franchise, based around how confusing the entire thing looked for an outsider looking in. And satire aside, it was based on many real-life conversations I've actually had with Fate fans trying to explain the franchise to newcomers. And every time that happens, I always hear, do you want the long version or do you want the short version? Because everyone asks for the short version, but even the short version for an outsider can seem like a convoluted mess of information.
Thought you were going to give me the short version.
This is the short version. But ever since I made that video, because no one ever actually asked for it, I've always wondered to myself, what is the long version?
Yeah, what is the long version? Do you think I should lower the volume, guys? Or...
I think it might actually be too
The
quiet.
Fate franchise fascinates me. Originally created by Kinoko Nasu, what started as just a single eroge visual novel has turned into a multi-billion-dollar franchise with more media
That's
than
right.
any sane
Billions of
person
dollars-
can wrap their head around.
billions of
I mean,
dollars
just
out
look
of
at all
one
this
game.
shit. Can you see?
Let's pause here. That's right, guys. This is where all your money from from Fate Go is going, guys. They're pumping it up. This is why we got like 3 animes in 1 year. People spent millions of dollars in Fate Go, and it's still actually
You and your
actually Fate Grit.
I'm not sure if that's true anymore.
No, that's not true anymore. Fate actually has more dojin. Well, at least from what we've gathered, from what's been gathered by very, very top porn people, who are very prominent in the hentai game. Supposedly the only thing that has more dojins than Fate is Idolmaster.
It's like the warehouse from the end of Indiana Jones, but instead of like treasures, it's porn.
Pretty much. So, supposedly, Fate has overpassed Toho in the Dojin department. Sorry, Angel. Or Art, whatever you decide. Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, if you want Toho to retake that crown, you better get cracking and start drawing some new dojins.
Yep, we gotta get working on it. Go, do it. I demand, make me Dojin. I mean, what? No, I wouldn't ever look at that. I'm quitting Dojin. I'm quitting Dojin. I'm not reading Dojin.
But don't you want to be right on the
There's
internet?
at least 5. So it can be easy to guess how and why people became fans in the first place, that many newcomers may even forget to ask, what is Fate even about?
Yeah, what is
Still
Fate
less
about?
still less
The
pieces
basic
of media
premise
than Star
revolves around a
Wars.
bunch of mages who can summon heroic spirits from Earth's real history or
I don't
legends
read
to
Dojin,
do
I don't know
battle
what you're
over the
talking about.
Holy Grail, a mythical wish-granting device in
Right
what is
now.
called the Holy Grail War. Basically, it's a
Also, I'm warning you all now, there may be a bit of droppage in my stream tonight, because there was a thunderstorm a bit earlier, and every time a thunderstorm happens, yeah, because it looks like I'm already lagging a bit with this. God damn it.
Let's see here.
I think I'm already lagging a bit more than usual. I hope it doesn't get too bad. Shut up!
Uh-oh. You talking to me?
No, the dogs. So, I hope it doesn't lag
I
too
have a
much.
question.
Yes, what's your question?
If the dog is barking, can't you bark at it and it would understand you since you're a dog?
I'm not the same kind of dog. I'm a demon dog. We don't speak the same dialect, Azure.
Okay, geez, sorry, I didn't mean to be racist.
Yeah, jeez. It's the same thing as when angel dogs and demon dogs try to communicate. It's just, it's messy and things happen. Okay.
Oh my. Oh
A bunch of mages spending all their V-Bucks to organize the ultimate Fortnite, Apex Legend, fucking Minecraft, Hunger Games, Battle Royale between all your favorite people from history and legend to create the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny. God, I hope my audience isn't too young to understand that. And the Holy
They are
Grail
too
War,
young to
it's just basically
understand
Nazi
that.
going,
Okay, go.
The poor
I'm not a
figure.
Chihuahua. I'm a Shih Tzu.
Let's just cut the video there. That's all you need to know about Fate. However, the background and lore of the entire Fate universe is unimaginably deeper than that. So much
Yeah,
so
why
that
does
every
Mordred
single
look
spin-off,
different in every
anime,
flashback?
manga, novel, every
That
single
spear is
piece
a
of
lot
Fate's
thicker
media
in Fate
takes place in a
Apocrypha.
coherent universe, fitting somewhere on a grand timeline, which is also shared with Nasu's other works, creating this grand universe known only as the Nasuverse. So you know what I thought would be a good idea? What
I
if
call it the
I
Titan
tried
universe
explaining the
because
entire
Natsu
Fate
doesn't
timeline?
write the only stuff these days
You were
anymore.
being thought,
so.
implying it was me in the past tense.
That's
It was
true,
a shit
but-
idea. Explaining all the Fate
It's
lore and
basically
timeline
the
in
same
detail
thing.
would
Yeah.
take hours and hours. I mean, just look at some of these wiki pages. This isn't a wiki
I get
page,
lost
it's a
in the
fucking
wiki.
light novel. Saberlore. That time some slag at a pond through a sword
I
at me
judge,
and
but I
accidentally
do the
became
same thing
fucking
in
King of
Star
England.
Wars.
So this is more like the long, short version. Or is it the short, long version? Or is it the medium version? It's an excuse to justify all the countless hours I've put into this hellhole. Obviously, there is going to be spoilers, but I'm going to try and keep it focused on the lore and universe and where every series fits in the timeline, rather
Yeah.
than what actually happens
I
in
don't-
any
I still don't
individual
think you did
series.
it
So,
100%
hopefully it
accurate,
won't spoil
Giga,
your
but-
experience too much if you decide
But that's
to
okay.
walk into hell.
You can't.
So,
you
with
can't
that
really pin down the
said,
timeline.
let's
This is
start
why we
explaining
didn't try.
all of Fate.
Yeah.
It's not too late now, Garn. All we have to do is just turn the camera off and delete the file, and no one will ever have to know. You see that,
This
Giga?
fucking nutshell.
That was Giga 3 months ago. I've been putting off filming this for 3 fucking months.
As you should have.
Just kill me now. Oh, 3 fucking months. This is my dissertation all over again. Hello and welcome to my TED Talk. To be introducing the Fate timeline, I'm going to be cosplaying
I
the
wanna
most
know why
powerful
you put
servant
fake
in the
shoes on.
history of the Fate timeline. Steve Handjobs. But
yeah.
before we get to the Fate timeline, there are a few
What?
core concepts we need to bang out first so everything makes sense. Firstly is Akasha. See, Fate exists in this grand world of magic and mages where you can summon heroic beings from the past, present, and future, and all of this derives from Akasha. What is Akasha? See, Akasha is this
Akasha is the
metaphysical
root.
place that exists outside of time and dimensions that is the source of all events and all the souls and
It
all
is
the
the Force.
timelines, and I like using
Pretty
big words to make me sound smart. Basically, everything that's ever happened and everyone you know, you can thank Akasha for it. 2020 as
I
a
can't
whole?
believe Akasha
Thanks,
synced.
Akasha.
Thanks, Akasha.
The Chad himself. Chug Jug's Fortnite remix. Thanks, Akasha. The one time in class you thought you had a silent fart, but you ripped out a fat one and everyone heard it and stared at you and your brain still reminds you about it every time you're about to sleep? Fuck you, Akasha. So instead of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, this is more like wibbly
That's a
wobbly,
reference I
timey
understand.
wimey, goopy galaxy, diddly dimension, rickety reality stuff. Where every timeline and every reality exists at the same time, meaning there are no spin-offs, every fate is canon, life is aligned, yes, that smutty dojin of Minamoto going ada ada on the order is canon in some timeline. You can't prove me otherwise. Are you with me? Good.
He's got
This
a
is
point. I
important
guess that
because
does have
the
a
end
point.
goal of every
Yeah.
mage in the Fate universe is to find a way to reach the root of Akasha.
Pause. Okay, so here Giga says every mage's goal is to reach the root. That's not. I don't think that's accurate.
Could he mean that, like, that's like the typical, like he
Like-
could just be generalizing.
He's probably generalizing, but I feel like in the majority, actually, I don't really think most of them are concerned with getting to the root of Akasha.
Really?
Because everybody's too busy doing dumb politics with basically the mages are too busy killing each other like the Sith to worry about Akasha.
You know what? That does make sense.
Yeah. Because you know there's like all this stuff shit going on with like hello welcome. What did he say about the dimension? He said wibbly wobbly, galaxy goopy, something. He said a lot of stuff. Don't talk about this. We don't talk about the dimension thing. So this is why I
Personal
pause and
question.
say I don't really think because well I'll continue on and I'll stop again when
But
we get
Giga,
there.
why do all mages want to find the root of Akasha? Well, I'm glad you asked, probably confused viewer. I really hope you're not confused right now. This is just the beginning. Well, this would be a good time to talk about the magic system that exists in the Nasuverse, because as we all
this would
know,
be good.
in this universe, mages exist and use magecraft, aka magic.
That is true.
Right?
No,
Wrong.
it's not magic.
Incorrect. Erroneous.
That's right.
Mistaken.
Magecraft and magic are technically
I
not
can't
the
think
same
of any
thing.
more words off the top of my head. What are you, an idiot? Why would anyone assume that magic and magecraft are the same thing? Look at this guy. Typical man that can't tell the difference between magic and magecraft. No. You got magecraft.
He got called out in
weak
another
sauce
video, didn't he?
imitation butter. Ooh, I can't believe it's not magic. And then you got the Chad True Magic. This is the top tier
I've been
gourmet
seeing this guy in a lot of
This
memes
is the shit
recently.
real mages want to use. The kind of shit Gordon Ramsay has to taste off and goes, finally.
Some good fucking
Magic. Well, this premium shit can only be achieved by
This is like the
mages
God
who
key
view
from Dragon
Akasha.
Ball,
And
where
once
regular
someone
key
gets
is
that
Magecraft.
magic, that path to Akasha is cut off. And
I
then
gotta
the
stop.
magic...
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna
Nope.
stop. So wait. This is I'm not 100% sure. I need to go back and I need to review stuff because if only one person gets access to Akasha after all the time wibbly wobbly wobbly things and that everything exists at the same time and doesn't at the same time, that means only one person in one universe would get access to Akasha. If I'm making sense of how things work. So, then that means Akasha's already closed off to everybody if only one person gets it.
Fuck.
Because in one of the early, well, not early visual novel, but it was shared around by when we were in the group of Oni-chan. Anyway, so it was shared around by a group that we
You
were
slipped in and out of that really well.
Yes. Thank you. I'm very good at that at changing my voice. Anyway, so basically in Toko Alkozaki's visual novel that she's in, Toko manages to use true magic in a scene, which if by the logic here, you can only get access to true magic is if you somehow get access to the root. So that means she had access to the root. So that means Toko's the only
He
mage
wins.
who can use real magic, and it's already
She won.
she won, and it's blocked off to everybody.
Mhm.
So this is why I'm saying I'm not entirely sure that this is accurate or not. That only one person can get access to it, because if Toko's got access to it,
I mean, given the importance that character has in the Naziverse, it
Yeah.
does feel like if only one person would get it, it would be her.
it would be her. That is
She's
true.
kind of like, so
Or
it's
is it
like,
Alco?
not, I don't.
I get those two mixed up. Is it Alco actually? I think it's Alco.
It's the red-haired girl.
It's the
right?
red-haired girl. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think Toko is their older sister who they have a rivalry with each
Yeah.
other. Alco
Yeah,
Alco is the
I think it's Alco.
Alco is the young, yeah. So Alco got
We're gonna end the stream
access.
and like be completely wrong.
Yeah, we're probably, but anyway. So supposedly Alco has complete access to but I'm not sure if she can still use it. I'm not sure if that was a one-time thing or not. Because she did a bunch of timely wobbly woobly stuff right after she got access to it. So it's possible that
Yeah, it's Alco.
yeah,
It's Alco.
it's possible that she opened up access to Akasha again because I did time travel, so I never got access to the root in the first place. Hunka cha cha cha.
Are we having stream issues?
Maybe, probably. Like I said, I was in the middle of a lightning storm earlier, and it's saying my stream quality was good now. But like I said before, it was in a lightning storm, and I probably dropped some frames here and there. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't hold on to these frames. They just slip
The
through
first
my fingers.
Kickstarter, if you ever do a Kickstarter, the first thing you need to do is get yourself a better internet modem.
Maybe that would help. I don't know. Or maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how much longer I'll be living in this house, so before I have to go and be an adult and live on my own. I don't know how to fix this situation. Nah, it's just really okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, if anyone else has an issue, please let us know.
Yeah.
So it's not just a.
I mean, I feel like
if it's-
Twitch has been kind of weird lately when I like stream it and I watch other people and I feel like I'm not like my thing is, so I feel like Twitch in itself is being dumb lately. So Maybe we're all having the same problem. All right, let's continue.
can only be used by the direct descendants of that original mage. Basically, no one has real magic, and they're trying to get to the root of the
Unfortunately,
Akasha
a
so
lot
they can
of
stop
mages
using
these
the
days don't
peasant dollar
reproduce,
store
so-
magecraft shit. Oh man, what if the third magic was just the power to create fate porn? But what's stopping all mages from getting to this mythical place called Akasha?
So we are
we
the
have
ones who
this
have the
thing
true magic.
called
We do.
the counterforce. This is kind of like a safety
Oh,
mechanism
well,
that stops the
welcome,
world from going
counterforce.
extinct because the Earth is actually alive and has a will, and don't worry about that right now. And the counterforce itself is made up of two parts: the collective unconscious will of humanity itself to survive, Alaya, and the will of the planet itself, Gaia. Online. Why is this important?
So, counterforce. Is that 100% accurate? I'm not sure. From what I read, it was Alaya who had control of the counterforce because... but that might depend on which version of the timeline you're in. Because from what I understand, I think what I read once is that... So the Earth has... So like you was saying, the Earth has a split personality. Basically. The Earth has a split personality in which, it's got the will of humans and then the will of the Earth. So they don't have like the same. They don't have the same goals. The Earth obviously wants to keep living, and the will of humanity is like, nah, bro, the Earth can go fuck itself if it comes down to I'm making sure humanity stays alive, because that's the real important thing. So...
They haven't created enough plastic yet.
Yeah, basically. Yes, it's Star Wars.
Yes, it is
It's
Star Wars.
Uh,
I can't believe that's going to be the end cap. When this series ends, whenever it does, we decide to put a ribbon on it and send our students out into the world. The final note will be, so just in the end, just go watch Star Wars.
pretty much. So my understanding is basically, Gotcha never dies. It never dies! Is that
Yeah,
depending
fucking hell, it does.
on which timeline you're in, if you're on the Tsukihime timeline, Gaia has more control, but if you're in the Fate timeline, Alaya has more control, and that's why.
Girls are fighting again.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, continue on. That's what
Because the counterforce has powerful defense mechanisms, like being able to summon heroic spirits from Earth's history in order to defend itself, which we call servants. Sound familiar?
They're called grand
So
servants,
it'll
good
intervene
sir, the
anyone
ones
trying to
that
get to
are summoned
Akasha,
by the
aka
Earth.
the Goopy Galaxy timey-wimey place, and mages have to find a way around it. Are you with me? Are you with me?
No.
Good. If you're already confused,
I've
may I
poked
introduce
holes
to you
in
the
your
phrase
argument
everyone in the
already.
faith
We've used that
fandom
image.
holds
We
in
have
the
used
highest
that
esteem
image.
I've used
as
that
the
image.
holiest words
Does
in
anybody
our
remember a
gospel.
Christian stream? It happened.
Don't worry about it. Why is the cast of Fate Stay Night sharing a nice wholesome meal instead of trying to brutally murder each other? Don't worry
It's
about
non-canon,
it. How
that's
do
right.
reality bubbles work? Don't worry about it. What is the moon? Don't worry about it. Please don't worry about it. Please don't ask me what the moon is. I'm not going to fucking talk about the moon. To
Yeah,
recap,
please don't
you
talk
have
about the moon.
Akasha, the timey-wimey, goofy galaxy, rickety reality place that every mage is trying to get to so they can use the
Yes,
top-tier
Arthur is a
gourmet true magic.
Yep.
But the only thing stopping them is the counterforce,
Timeline
which they
shenanigans,
have to
that's
try
why
and find
Arthur
a
is
way
a woman.
around. Did you get all that? This is all the background information you need to know before
Maybe.
we start the timeline.
Not really.
Jesus Christ, we haven't even started the timeline yet. You know, originally I wanted to visualize the timeline physically by having things stuck against the wall strung together with a string or something like that, like you see in that Always Sunny meme. But then I soon realized I don't have a wall big enough. So that's why I'm using the green screen. Definitely not because I want to rip off Nakey Jakey. Now, starting right at the beginning, before any mages, before any servants, before any Holy Grail wars, you have the Age of Gods.
Yay,
So
the
apparently
easiest part
right
of the
at beginning of
timeline.
Fate lore, there was this period of time where gods roamed the earth with man, mythical creatures existed, and
Pausing. Okay. So. We do say that they're gods, per se. But what really is, they're like elemental beings before like they become gods, and also they're aliens. Just thought I should throw that out there just to clarify. The gods are not actually gods. They're actually aliens and elemental beings that have taken form in something. Yes, it's Genshin Argons, basically.
Mm-hmm. Or that one episode of Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah.
Where it turns out that the Greek gods were aliens.
Basic. And that was true. That's true in the Fate timeline, too. The Greek gods were aliens. Congratulations. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I don't know. Maybe it's because he was mentioning he didn't want to spoil anything, but I feel like at this point, background information for things is not really spoiling.
Maybe we should have warned people that we were going to bring up the aliens.
Aliens!
Aliens.
This is very important.
He actually looks like he's doing the alien pose in that still frame right there. So this is just his way, it's his way of telling us without actually telling us.
Yeah, but that's.
I told you, Art the Angel. The reason why Arthur is a woman is because the way a multiverse works is for every single possible possibility, decision, situation,
sex,
choice. There is a universe in which that choice, situation, possibility happens.
There's an alternative universe where somewhere that the egg that got fertilized with an X chromosome instead of a Y chromosome.
There is a universe where I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning. There's another universe where I woke up at 8:01.
Male King Arthur is in Prototype and in Fate Grand Order. Also, did you know that in Male King Arthur's timeline, Merlin is a chick? We should just always point that out. There you go.
Although we all know that the prime timeline is the Disney King Arthur movie, or that was Disney, wasn't it?
Probably. Disney likes to pretend that there's a lot of movies that doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure that
Sword in the Stone, was that the movie?
Yeah. He's in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, it was a Disney movie. Merlin's in Kingdom Hearts.
Where's the timeline where everything is normal? Emiya Gohan. Daily meals at the Emiya household, I think is what it translates to.
I shit you not.
That is the normal
Physics
timeline.
Apparently just wasn't a thing. Yeah, apparently this thing called mystery
Physics
governed the law of the
existed.
worlds, which I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Mystery just is
Don't
a
worry
power
about
force
it. Like, I just
where,
imagine in my head some ancient
because
humans
people
trying to let
didn't
go
know
of an
how to
apple. Physics
explain
tries to drop
things
it, and
with
mystery's
physics
like,
yet.
No. We do not do that here. And then
Mystery
the
was
apple just
super
flies off the
powerful
fucking
back in the
nine.
day.
But everything
It
changed
didn't really work
when the
the way
Zephyr
that
was
he's explaining it.
or just Zephyr. This next time period is called Deterioration. This titan called Zephyr invaded and destroyed most of the world and was only beaten back by this mighty sword
As
called
seen in Fate Extella.
Excalibur.
Yep.
After the attack, the gods weaken a bit, mystery starts to wane, and physics is like, yo, is anyone gonna drop that apple? Which takes us to separation. So the gods are a little pissed that they can't go down to Earth anymore because they're so weak, so they make Gilgamesh, who's 2/3 god. Because gods don't give a shit about maths,
Which is
apparently.
what we said in our stream last week.
Yeah. From what I think it is, I think he really is 3/4 god biologically, but I think because I heard the explanation was is that Gilgamesh hates God so much that, I mean, he's 3/4 god, that he hates God so much that he lowered his divinity just so that he didn't have to be mostly God.
Divinity is like an actual skill
Yeah.
in the Fate Stay Night power system, and his has been diminished because of that.
Yeah. So I think that's why he's 3/4 God as a servant. I think he's
Just
biologically
sleepy for this?
3/4.
Son, you came to son. If you wanted a relaxing stream, you don't go to a Fate stream.
You don't go. True.
If you're looking for understanding, you don't come to a Fate stream.
Don't come to Fate stream. Don't do it.
Intention of making him the keystone to connect the gods and the humans. Now, for anyone not familiar with the Fate
Talk about the
verse,
Monogatari
how can I
series.
explain Gilgamesh? You know that one meme, is this some peasant joke I'm too poor to understand? Well, imagine if that meme was reincarnated as a person. That's Gilgamesh. So yeah, he decides to rebel and the gods were like, no.
That sucks, Art. I'm sorry.
This guy doesn't want to take orders from us? No, come on, you're joshing us right now. This is a prank. Come on, where are the hidden cameras? I'm on MTV Punk, aren't I? And so with that, the gods cannot interfere with humans anymore. And thus begins the Age of...
And supposedly Arcoade is born somewhere in that time as well. She drew a summon sign anyway, right? Yes. Yes, I did. You're welcome.
I thought you said art. I thought you said Arcawato. It's like her artwork is so great. She actually
Yes,
entered the fate universe.
She entered the fate universe at this time. No, Arcuade. And Arcuade is somewhere born either before 0 AD or during 0 AD. I don't know. She chose her birthday to be December 24th. So I don't know if she's trolling and she's like, no, there's no, because like one of the things is like, there's no deep meaning behind this birth date. Don't worry about it.
Of man. From the year 0
sure you get her
AD, the
presents.
human population explodes, magic and magecraft is replaced with science,
Science!
and most importantly, physics exists now, guys! Yeah!
Build are the science
I
guy.
meant to buy a party popper, but I completely forgot to. Alan, can you edit a party
If
popper?
you want party
in this
poppers,
video,
you have to
please?
go to up is not jump.
Thank you. That's right, screw your mystery. I have E equals MC squared. Okay, remember right at the beginning of this video when I said the Fate franchise was about this thing called the Holy Grail? Well, we can finally start talking
It's a
about
cup.
the Holy Grail. See, the Grail
Oh,
is
dear.
touted as this omnipotent, magical, wish-granting device, and that's only partially true. See, around the 1800s, these epic magic gamer girls, called the Einsberg family, figured out a way to the root of Akasha.
Dude, you didn't even use the right gamer girl. You didn't, neither of those are Jubilant.
Well, he says on there, like, he does have a note on there that says, like, not specifically these gamer girls.
Yeah. True, but but
Should we-
images of Jubilant exist. He could have used that. We have art of her.
Okay, but it's a joke though. Like canonically, they are both of them are gamer girls.
That's true. They are gamer girls.
That gives you
Like, that's not even a joke.
They found a way to the. Okay, so here's where he said that they found a way to the route to Akasha. Now this is where I interject and say, I don't think the Einsbergs realized that they created a route to Akasha. I think their goal was literally just to create the Holy Grail War, to create a wish, to create a better world. I don't think, because from what I read, only the Tosakas figured out that this could help them get to the root. So, I might be mistaken, but
No wonder that family is so overinflated with their ego.
yeah. But that is what I understand from it, is that they didn't realize that they had created a pathway to the root. I think they were just looking for a way to gather a lot of magical energy all at once to create something that could grant a wish that they're looking for. You know. Oh. Jigglypuff! Yeah, which Pokemon's that? Who's that Pokemon, guys?
I don't know. I couldn't hear it. You cut out right as you said it.
You want me to say... Oh, you want me to do Eevee? Avoy! 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 Avoy. There you go. Eevee.
Have you considered getting like an Eevee or a Pikachu model?
I have thought about it at some point. At least getting like...
Although I think
Years
that
or
if you tried to monetize yourself as a Pikachu,
Look-
you might get in trouble.
Look, not everybody can be Pokimane and get away with, ripping off of a
Pichu
franchise
Lily.
name. Also,
Because Nintendo's like, I fear no one, but
Except
that
thing
thing,
fears
and
me.
it's just the army of her simps.
yes, pretty
That
much.
scares me.
All right. So
By
let's continue.
using the Holy Grail to summon 7 heroic spirits and then sacrifice them, and using that mana to summon an even greater Grail
No
called
Russian.
the Greater Grail, which has access to the root of Akasha. But of course, all the various magic gamer girls and boys couldn't agree on who would actually get access
Sabrina.
to this magic, so they decided to
Okay. So he said that people couldn't agree to who gets access to this stuff. Actually, I think the Holy Grail War is a necessary thing to happen for the ritual to work because, magic rituals be dumb like that. So, I don't think it was that, they couldn't decide who to pick it, because if anybody was going to get the wish, it was going to be Zorkin and Jubilate over there, because they had teamed up to create the whole thing, and and the Tosakas had just funded the land. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think it needed to be like a noble combat sacrifice sort of thing in order for it to function because, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you needed to make it look cool at least.
Which does raise the question, like,
Mhm.
do the servants know they're being sacrificed?
I believe they are made aware of it because technically, okay, so technically the servants themselves are not, it's okay. So it's like, so basically a lot of sacrifices needed to be made in order for but they needed like very strong magic sacrifices for it to work. But they're like, if we waste people like that, it's not, it's kind of like a waste of materials, so to speak. So what they did is like, I think there's like 7 like containers or something that exists in the ley line of Fuyuki City that collects
Dragon balls?
something like that. Their container, so basically is like, so the container fills up with magical energy throughout the 100 or so years that it's supposed to take to between a Grail War. Dragon Ball.
Don't mind me.
Yeah. So basically it's mana that was collected from the earth to, like, because the servants, despite the fact that they have physical bodies and can touch people, they aren't really alive. They're just very cool ghosts, guys. But they're basically just condensed mana forms, and basically by creating these fake human forms, they basically gotten around without having to sacrifice real people that they needed for the Grail. So, yeah, it needed to kill people in order for the Grail to work. Do you not know the laws of equivalent exchange? You want a really cool wish to happen, you need to make sacrifices. Look, magic rituals are weird, okay? We don't talk about... No, the servants don't need to kill people. They need to kill each other. The masters do not need to die in a Grail War. Unless you're in, like, a weird branch Grail War. But we're
It's
not
just
talking...
easier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The masters only have to die if, because the masters are acting as a conduit to keep the servant alive. But, so it's easier to kill the master, but, Alright, I've gotten way too into the mechanics of how the Grail War works. Let's continue.
To have a meeting to decide. One could even say that it was a magic. The Gathering. Or in Fate, we just call this the
Yu-Gi-Oh's
Holy
better.
Grail War. Which finally leads us to the timelines to all the wars so far.
That is
I
Skyrim
can't believe I
music.
flunked world history and I'm about to recite the entire history of some fictional war that happened. Okay, so you got like the first Holy Grail War, which happened around the 1800s. This is when the 3 main mage families, the Einsburns, the Tosakas, and the Matos,
Why do you keep
couldn't
using
agree
Prisma
on who to
Ilya?
get access to the Grail. So they
Iris
were like,
Steel?
guys,
No, maybe-
there are a bunch
Giga?
of
Maybe he just
servants
really-
lying about.
maybe he just
Tournament
really
up,
likes
tournament
that
up,
Iris
tournament
Steel
up, tournament
design.
up, tour! This was hardly what you'd call an actual war though, and more like
Yes,
a
Art,
3
I am
AM
one of the
brawl at the
people.
local mage pub, which ended because everyone got bored and time ran out. Then came the second Holy Grail War.
Pausing, unrelated to the video. Apparently, Azure's gonna make me play Yu-Gi-Oh on a stream one day.
Yes.
So you got
If,
something.
if we have an audience for it, it's gonna happen soon.
Yeah. So if anybody ever wants to see me fuck up playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I will do it one day. I mean, people really want that horror stream, so I guess that's gonna come first. But everybody wants me to be crying. Yes. Alright, second Grail
The
War.
1860s, with the same parties involved, but this time everyone went a bit fucking mental because everyone died, nobody won, and future generations were like, wait a minute, do we need rules? What the fuck is a Geneva Convention? Then came the third Holy Grail War in the 1930s, where the church gets involved because they're just like, are you using the term Holy Grail? God, are we allowed to copy strike that? And everyone's happy with that because they can enforce the rules. So the church is like, all right, gamers, I want a fair fight. No going for the eyes, no kicking below the belt, and for God's sakes, no summoning any illegal servants. So then the eyes burn, summon an illegal servant.
It's like
and so
the
they
Yu-Gi-Oh!
get this
ban list.
totally new servant called Angry aka the Angry Mango, who's meant to be this super badass, ultra OP new
No, it's
servant
Angry
that also
Matthew.
wins them the war.
Yeah, it's Angry Matthew. Or if you want to get culturally inappropriate, the Angry Manju.
Oh, Jesus.
Culturally inappropriate jokes.
This was in the 1930s, too, wasn't it?
Problem. Somebody kicked the church's ball. Yes, please do. So, welcome to Gigguk simplifying things. It wasn't just the church that got involved when the Holy Grail War went bananas the second time it happened. Basically, to my knowledge, all of the major corporations really got involved, except for Atlas, probably. But yeah, Clock Tower got involved. Basically, it was like they had like a convention, and then they chose the church to be the only one that would probably be partially neutral party to oversee the
Because if there's anyone who's known for their neutrality, it's the fucking church.
Yeah. Well, I guess in the Fate universe, maybe. But, maybe. Mostly they dissolve in...
The church is on Ritalin in the Fate universe.
Basically, maybe it's the church is known best for cleanup duty, and I think that's why they really were gotten involved. Basically, it's the church's... everybody decided, okay, it's the church's job to make sure that, nobody, you know...
I can explain it. Basically, there's a big disaster, and the church comes in, they gather up all the survivors and say, see, this is what happens when you don't worship Jesus and you masturbate.
Don't believe in religions. Pretty much. But anyway, yeah. So.
What about VTubers?
Yeah, what about VTubers? Do you believe in me? Am I your god, guys? I'll be your god. I'll be your demon god. Demon Lord form confirmed. I'm sorry I dyed my ears, guys. I'm sorry. Look, my whole hair is actually really dyed. The pink is not that vibrant, as you could see in my Demon Lord farm. But anyway, yeah. Let's get back to the Angry Mango.
Or except lol, JK is actually super weak and dies and is literally so angry he gives the Grail food poisoning. Then we got the 4th Holy Grail War, which is basically just the events of Fate
He was
Zero.
very
We
angry.
won't spoil what happens in it. And finally we have the Grand Sugar Daddy that birthed everything we're talking about. The 5th Holy Grail War, aka the events of Fate Stay Night. Following Shiro fighting in it using the power of friendship and fucking, mana transfer. And this CG dragon still haunts my mind.
No, that's the
What's
same
important
thing.
here
Yeah,
is
that's
that
the
this
same
war
thing.
has at least 3 different timelines because the original Fate Stay Night was a visual novel with 3 different routes. You got the Fate route, Unlimited Blade Words, and Heaven's Feel. Or, to put it more simply, you got the Saber route, the Best Girl route, and the Sakura route
I
with
cannot
extra
deny.
fucking, mana transfer. But it doesn't stop
Yeah, the
there
Sakura
because
route
next we
is
got
very-
Fate Hollow Ataraxia, which is kind of like a sequel to Fate
They
Stay
went
Night
all
because
out.
it takes place 6 months after the events that happened in there. So you may be wondering which one of the 3 routes it follows, and the answer is
Yes.
yes. So one of the main girls from Fate Stay Night, Rin, is doing some magic experiments, and she does a little bit of an oopsie, and completely fucks up the space-time continuum,
That
merging
one
all
does.
parallel universes together. And I know what you're thinking. This doesn't sound like a little oopsie. This sounds a bit more like a big oopsie. But it's all
That
good
one
because she
episode of
looks
Star
great
Trek.
in thigh highs. So we're following this maid Suzette who was dead off screen in the original Fate Stay Night, and she is now alive along with Angry Mayu, aka the Angry Mango. And they're stuck in a Groundhog Day type time loop, living the same 4 days over and over, and she has to find a way to escape without fading from
answer is she
existence
can't.
because she was originally dead, and I guess people die if they don't exist. Since most of this takes place in a time loop, this is basically just
That's
Fate
what
V-Zero
happened
edition.
to
So you can
the
essentially
white-haired
just call
girl
it
from the
Fate
Fate Grand Order
Zero.
prologue.
way. And you know what? That's basically everything for the flagship
See,
Fate.
this is why I'm saying, guys, Bizette should have gotten a servant form before Karen. Fucking Karen.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn Karen.
Goddamn Karen.
Well, you know what it was? That Bizette was going to get one, but Karen complained.
Yeah, I guess so.
Fate series.
Bizette.
We did it, guys.
I think
That was
Poor
pretty
Bizette.
simple, right, guys?
that's what she
What
gets.
are we missing?
Trusted Kodamine.
Fuck. Of course, we are going to have to fill this timeline in with all the other Fate media out there. So
The answer is he
let's
doesn't
do
really.
the time
it's-
warp again.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like
Oh my God.
trying to establish the timeline of the Saw
Fucking
movies.
go
Why
back.
would
Alright,
you
so
even
let's
try?
start with
Yeah.
Fate Apocrypha. So the Fate Apocrypha timeline is exactly identical to the original timeline, except when we get to the Third Holy Grail War, where the timeline was
Here
like,
we go.
you know what? Nazis. Because of course it's the fucking Nazis. So the Nazis join the Third Holy Grail War, and instead of there being a winner, the Nazis steal the Greater Grail system. And so after that, a Transylvanian Nazi mage guy steals it from the Nazis again, and then I guess the Nazis go on to lose World War II as usual. Fast forward to the future, and somehow the entire world finds out about the Greater Grail system, and everyone and their dog tries to make a cheap imitation of it. And so because of this, the Transylvanian Nazi sorcerer guy vows to make the Holy Grail War great again.
Let's stop to say, okay, Apocrypha, guys, fuck Apocrypha. It is not that well written, and the anime is garbage. There you go. There's my 2 cents.
Not necessarily a point I agree with, but it is a point that you are welcome to have.
Yes. We all have difference of opinions, but this is just my opinion. It's okay, Gio. That means you gotten through the worst of it, and that anything you watch from here will be better than Apocrypha, because it's not good. There's too many characters, and the series isn't long enough to deal with all these characters. It might have been a little better in the novels, but from my understanding, the novels aren't really written that well either. So I don't know what else the authors.
I mean, hey, it gave us
Yeah.
a Stolfo,
Yeah.
and it gave Liz's voice actress a chance to play another character.
Yeah, I think this is the reason why Liz got Astolfo as her second voice rig, because I think they just wanted to get her into an animated series, because we all know CCC is never going to get animated. So Ruby is
very
very
true.
well loved by the Type Moon group A. I think that's why she got, 3 Halloween specials. So,
And if you don't love her, you're a terrible person.
yes, she's very...
That is just objective fact.
Yep.
And so he makes the Great Holy Grail War. I shit you not, this is what it's called. And so now instead of 7 servants, you have 14 servants separated into 2 teams.
Oh,
Red
that's
and
the
black.
Digimon
That's
theme
right,
song.
it's a team deathmatch.
Team deathmatch. Team deathmatch. Stab it!
And so we
How
get
many
a
of you
season of
kids
Red versus
remember
Black,
Codename?
Mordred is
I
hot,
do.
and Astolfo will make straight guys question their sexuality, and gay guys question their sexuality, and gay girls question their sexuality, and me question my life choices for spending $400 for a dick. That concludes the events of Hitler Stay Night. Next on the menu, we have
I
today's
think
menu
I
for
think he was
Emiya
one of my
family.
freebies.
Yeah. All right. Cookie, I can't believe you went into this 1 second, but okay.
Did you see what I did there? This is, I think, just another alternate ending to the 5th Holy Grail War.
And you know what I think? I think it's non-canon and it exists in a weird bubble. And that's what that's what I think about all of the happy timelines where nothing bad happens and people are just being
It's
cute
just-
for the sake of cute. It's just fan
It's just
service,
what
guys.
Shiro. It's just like Shiro is dying in Heaven's Feel, and this is just what he sees.
Yeah, pretty
It's like
much.
the last moments before the light goes out of his eyes.
Ahoy!
Hello, Nature X45.
Ahoy! Welcome to us reacting to Giga's timeline and us basically punching holes in it for how people can interpret things differently. And nobody is a source of information in Type Moon because it's bullshit, guys!
Welcome to the show where everything is made up and the opinions just honestly don't matter. Be them ours or anyone else's.
War, where I guess nobody dies and they all just sit around cooking and playing volleyball and being happy, and this is canon, okay?
No,
they never
it's not.
explain
He
where it
disagrees
takes place
with
on the
you.
He does
timeline, but
disagree with
I
me,
don't
it's
care.
not canon.
They're all happy.
I don't know,
Akasha
I
made it.
think I want it
It's
to be canon.
canon. Like in
I
my
know
mind,
you- I know
this
we
is the
want it to
reality
be
when someone
canon.
just tried
We
playing
know
the
it's
Fate visual
cute.
novel, but got bored 5 minutes after reading words and then just left.
I've got
And never came back.
We have a mutual.
And then all these
we have
characters are just
mutual
sitting around having a
acquaintance
gay
who
old
definitely
time
believes
waiting for
this
the
is
Holy Grail
canon.
War to start. This is what happened. This is the reality where Sea-Dog VA tried to play Fate. Alright, so I'm just gonna make a Fate Stay Night bar.
Okay, so that's the explanation. That's how it happened.
That's how it happened, guys, for all the people who couldn't get past the first couple of sentences in their visual novel. That's how that happened. Personally, I think it's non-canon. I don't really think it exists in the timeline. Mostly because everybody's happy and nothing bad is happening and everybody's just being cute for sake of being cute. Fate is known for no matter what happens, nothing good will really happen to you. So misery is
That's
certain.
awfully cynical. That is awfully cynical.
I know. But that's just how fate is.
So it's not a feel-good show.
It's not. When did you think Fate was a feel-good show? Was it when people were dying, or when it was making people question their beliefs, or
I thought it was a feel-good show the very first time I saw a picture of Saber, and I had absolutely no idea about anything that had to do with Fate.
yeah. Surprise.
Oh, what's this? This looks like a show that was probably set in this is probably set in the Dark Ages, right?
No.
This is probably about like knights and stuff.
No.
Oh no, that's modern. Why does this have a TVMA rating on?
What is the
Funimation
dragon
website?
doing here? What is happening? Ah!
Why aren't any of Funimation's voice actors in this?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you're saying this was
and then I'm
made
going
by
to
Genuine?
put Fate Tiger Coliseum and Fake Unlimited codes in this bubble because they're just
It's just a
fighting
fighting
games
game.
and they're already
It's
beating the shit out of
non-canon.
each other in the series anyway. So I guess these are just the filler episodes we never got to see. Then we got Fate School Life, which is kind of like a slice of life
Non-canon.
spin-off in the Fate Stay Night universe that also
parody.
has Ataraxia characters in it. So I guess it goes here. Can you tell how I'm sure I am right now? Lord Elmaloy's Case Files. This is basically just CSI Magic that
Okay,
takes
I'm gonna
place
pause.
after
I'm gonna pause.
We do need to pause because we need to have a conversation about this one.
Yeah. I thought that the Almaloy Case Files takes place after the Fifth Holy Grail War. Because Gilgamesh needs to. Well, I mean, the Almaloy Case File. Like, I thought all of them took place after the Fifth Holy Grail, but I might be wrong. It might be, I thought, or at least it was happening during the Fifth Holy Grail War, one of the two. Because I think Saber needs to not be around for the thing that's going on with Gray.
I do know that, like, in the anime adaptation, they are talking about Bazette and Castor's original master.
Yeah. So he's wrong in this timeline. Like, this is an absolute fact that this takes place after the Fifth Holy Grail War. So, or during, at least. So.
Well, I don't know because,
Maybe.
well, okay, so I don't know Rail Zeppelin, the anime. You didn't watch it, did you?
I didn't watch it. I'm saving it for a rainy day when I'm bored.
Okay, because Rail Zeppelin says it happens before the Fifth Holy Grail War, because that's kind of Waver's whole thing is, like, part of his dilemma is he's trying to become a master. He wants to become a master for the war, but he can't.
All right.
But again, this is just a purely like animation side thing, and honestly, it's not that important. But it has to do with trains, so I have to bring it up. In that anime, they go to St. Pancras Station in London, and it's supposed to be set in 2004, basically. It can't be set in 2004 because the St. Pancras Station they go to is the renovated St. Pancras Station from 2007.
Wow. So basically, according to Azure, Elmaloy Case Files has to take place after the Fifth Holy Grail War because.
Despite the fact there are explicit conversations in that show that say it happens before.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I guess maybe they decided to build the intercontinental railway from London like through like under the channel
Thank you,
earlier in
Train
the Fate
Otaku,
universe.
for poking holes in the timeline yet again.
Hmm.
Smash these things. And he's like, there are pictures that exist of what the Trailway looks like before 2007. You could have been accurate. God damn you.
Well, hey! I will give them points for using St. Pancras Station instead of King's Cross, like every single other fucking show. Like whenever they need a train station in London, they always use fucking King's Cross.
Yay!
A little bit of trivia: King's Cross is literally across the street from St. Pancras. But anyway, I digress.
Trains.
Trains. This has been your TMI for trains for the evening.
Yes. Also, so maybe this is a little accurate, because maybe basically if we move this closer to the Fifth Holy Grail War, and then it takes place before, during, and after. So yeah, maybe this is accurate.
At the very least, the Rail Zeppelin anime is set before the Fifth Holy Grail War.
All right. Okay. All right. I just thought it was taking place after because of the gray thing, but you know, Saber wasn't summoned again, so maybe was being weird at the time. All right. Let's go.
Fate Zero, but before Fate Stay Night, starring Fate Zero's Waver. Except Waver's gone from Daddy Step on Me to oh. Step on me, Daddy. Alright. Now we get into the manly shit. Fate
here we go.
Khaled, line of Prisma Ilya, is a spin-off where Ilya becomes a magical girl. And instead of summoning servants, the magical girls can use these magical cards to channel the power of the servant.
I wish their magical
and also
girl
there's a magical
outfits were
talkie
cuter.
wand, don't worry about it. Before I properly got into the Fate franchise, I thought that this was just an unrelated spin-off that had nothing to do with the main universe. But no, not only does this directly diverge from the main timeline, but it has two separate universes within its own universe. It's a fucking Ilya multiverse.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the Ilya multiverse.
There's not really much to talk about.
Doesn't even have Ilya in
pretty
it.
straightforward.
Oh god, I love you so much, baby. You just don't make things easy, do you? Alright, I'm gonna try and do my best, so stick with me here. The first universe is the one detailed in the movie Oath Under Snow, following this girl called Miyu, which is why we call this the Miyu-verse, because her name is Miyu and she's the child of God, don't worry about it.
We're gonna pause this right here. Okay, so this is not... Okay, so Miyu is actually an alternate version of Ilya because of shenanigans. Miyu, like, I think this is pretty canon because Miyu has the same birthday as Ilya and everything. Miyu is technically not a child of God, okay? She's part of a
We're all children of God. What are you talking about?
She's actually part of a mage's family that practices a ritual or something sort of effect. Is basically if a child in the family is taken away from like modern civilization or something, is basically raised in a shack or whatever with just their parent or something, it allows them to be godlike, or like I guess basically if they have very strong like magic. So basically she is like a grail that was born, and as time goes on, if she's tainted by man, she loses her powers and stuff like that, supposedly, from what I'm understanding.
So basically every time someone draws lewd fan art of her, they are tainting her.
Yep.
They are contributing to that.
Yep, they are contributing to it. But she pretty much lost all her powers before the series began anyway. One of her unknown wishes that she made using her magic was to become Shiro's sister. Supposedly Miyu is, because her eyes were red previously, they turned brown after she made the wish, supposedly hinting at she biologically became Shiro's younger sister because she wanted to be like his sister for realsies.
I guess that one of Shiro's parents had red hair, the other one had black hair. Wasn't there a theory that she was the daughter of Karitsugu and Maya from Fate Zero?
Supposedly. I might have made that theory up, but it might have been me. I might have been the one who threw that theory into the internet. because I thought,
Good theory.
yeah, it was a good theory because Kiritsugu and Maya did have sex. I mean, what? No.
They did something in Fate Zero.
So,
Kurisuga's kind of a scumbag.
yeah, he's not a very good person. It shows again in the Miu-verse too. He is not a very good person. Basically, he has asked Shiro to kill Miu if worse things were the worst, but unfortunately, Shiro got attached. So
That was a bad thing. Like, that was the wrong person to ask.
yeah,
Mr.
basically,
I want to save everyone.
basically, this is why we say that Miu-verse Shiro has a cooler Shiro because he's gone full devoted into being a good older brother to make sure Miu has the best life he can give her, even in the decaying world that they're living in. So he's basically said, "Screw the world. I'm taking care of my little sister. F you all." And then he
Screw
made
the rules. I have Emoto.
yeah, and then he made a wish and said, "Okay, Miu, I'm sending you off to another timeline. Goodbye."
And she wound up in Luvia's hands, so instant downgrade.
About it. She's taken in by Shiro, and then they have another Holy Grail War, but not the usual Holy Grail War, but the Ainsworth Holy Grail War. Can you guess why it's called the Ainsworth Holy Grail War? Because it was made by the Ainsworth. Shiro then sends Miu to an alternate universe, which we call the
we go.
Iliaverse, which is all sunshine and rainbows, where the fourth Holy Grail War didn't happen in Kiritsugu's Father of the Year.
Not
You got
really.
cute girls
He's
doing
not
cute
around.
things, cute girls doing magical things, and cute girls doing each other. This is the universe where season 1 and 2 of Prisma Ilia happens, but then you have season 3, which jumps back into the Miuverse. And if you think that complicates the timeline, how about this little knowledge of Nugget? So, in the original Fate Stay Night, Ilia is 18. She's 18. She's older than Shiro. But in the
oldest
Iliaverse,
character
she's
in
the
that
same
game.
age as when the
Like, at
timelines
least of, like,
diverge,
the,
which
of the
theoretically
adolescents.
should make her the same age as she was in
No, because she was born later in the like. This is like canonically, like they're talking over her
This-
crib when the fourth Holy Grail War is about to start or whatever. She was literally born later. That's what
This
the
whole thing-
timeline divergence is for.
So, okay, but I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Because that means, like... Do we need to go into how sex works?
Well, like I said again, technically, I don't even know if Kiritsugu and Irisfield actually had sex to make Ilia, because Ilia is half homunculus, and it
It's
was
just like-
done in a science lab.
It's like they did this with one of the characters from the Star Trek reboot too, where they made him like he was born 3 years later than he was in the prime timeline. It's like the father and the mother have like, okay, so like there's two things that need to meet. Like there's two things that join in the mom's reproductive organs that creates the child. Those two things are like a completely different set of things years later.
Yes,
They're different day to day by all means.
that is true, but I know, yes, I understand like how this genetics actually works and that no child would be 100% like anything like each other, that you need to be the correct storm of things must happen in order for a person to say. But I'm just saying that that's what the diversion was for this timeline. And I guess you could say maybe that's why Ilia, but like I said, Ilia's a half homunculus. The creation of her was half science lab, and then they implanted her into, well, they implanted a womb, and then they implanted Ilia into said womb, so that Irisfield could carry her like a normal person. Ilia is, but yeah, Ilia was mostly science labby, timey-wimey thingy. For example, a baby was just born that was whose DNA was on ice for like 10 years or something. So,
Well, geez, that raises a whole bunch of questions.
yeah, basically
But-
they froze the DNA.
Well, I
and
mean,
then,
they do-
and then they chose 2020 to have the baby. Good job.
Well, I mean, they freeze.
Yeah.
Were the eggs fertilized when they froze them?
Possibly.
Because
I
I know that they freeze. I know that they freeze
freeze-
eggs, but
they freeze
they're
eggs.
usually unfertilized, aren't they?
I don't know. They freeze eggs, and there's also sperm. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I do not know how it works.
Mm.
But anyway, nonsense aside, so it's possible that even though she's called Ilya, that since the personalities are also completely different from one another, it's possible they're not 100% the same person. If you're getting what I'm saying, it's just the whole Einsburn fuckery that they look almost exactly the same.
It's the Einsburn brand of fuckery.
Yeah. I mean, her hair color is slightly different from the regular Ilya, so...
In Fate
That
Stay
could just be a
Night.
stylization thing.
Yeah.
Like, it looks
But she's
more
not.
normal.
And
like,
the
in
series
Takeuchi
makes
films.
it very clear that she is under 18. So which is it, Fate? Which is it? I need to know. You know, I would say don't worry about it, but I'm pretty sure the FBI are going to do that for me. All right, moving the fuck on from this mess of a legal situation. You got Fate, also known as the Fate Extra user.
Here we go.
This
Yeah.
splits
That'll
off
be
from the
good.
Third Holy Grail War in the Angry Mango timeline, where all the world's mana dries up because some kind of event. So in the 2030s, all the mages turned into hackers and they tried to hack the moon because the moon has a supercomputer on it that was placed there by aliens that they found. And so inside this supercomputer moon, there exists this entire digital world. And so the supercomputer moon is hosting a virtual reality Holy Grail war because it's actually alive. I don't realize how
Like, when you
ridiculous
say
this
it out loud
sounds
like
until I
that, it
read it
sounds
out
kinda
loud.
silly.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. So yeah, it turns out the moon knows shit and you can hack the moon. And it also has Rin, Sakura, and Kirei from the original Fate Stay Night. But not the
okay, well,
original Rin, Sakura,
just
and
digital
Kirei from the
versions.
original Fate Stay Night. What are
Two
you,
of those are digital.
stupid?
They're just digital
They're just characters who
recreations.
look, sound, and dress exactly the same, but they're different.
What are you talking about? Kirei isn't dressed the same.
Okay, I can explain this. And he might go into it, but Sakura and Kirei in Fate Extra are just digital recreations.
Yeah.
Like, so, like... Yes, they are technically different people, but they at the same time they're not.
They're not. They're not. For
And-
Sakura and Kirei, they are technically not the same person. They were actually pulled from the Stay Night timeline, from what I'm understanding, because the Sakura that exists, that in the extra timeline, would look nothing like, the Mato Sakura and the Moon Cell.
Right.
And there may be a 25% chance that she is Fate Extra Rin's mother. Moving on.
Oh my.
Are you
Anyway.
worrying about it? Because I'm not. So you got the Fate Extra games, the Fate Extra Triple C games,
Extra
and then you got
Rin
the
is
anime.
Rin's
Fate Extra Last
niece.
Encore in its own separate timeline that takes place in the year 3000. And Rin's great granddaughter. It's just fucking Rin. Fate.
Okay, but Goku Jr. from Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah, Goku Jr. But yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So Rin is a niece of Extra
Rin.
Rin is Fate Stay Night Rin's extras counterpart's niece.
Like, is it ever canonically said that Rin Tosaka is her actual name in Fate Extra?
No, it's not.
She could just be
It's
assuming her
believed
identity.
it's believed she's using an alias from all the people who've debated it. It's possible that she's just took Rin's name to use so that she wouldn't because if you must. Oh God, we're back to Fate. Yes, we are back to Fate. We're reacting to Giguk's Fate timeline. But basically, so back on the topic of Extra Rin, and basically, and some people had tried to tell me that their daddy had a sex with an European woman, and that's where Fate Rin comes from. But there is no. I haven't found the evidence to support that they had a third sister. So there's still a good % chance that Sakura from this timeline.
That's because the third sister is Lovia.
Probably the third sister. is
Like,
named Olivia.
I know it's just a fan theory, but I don't care. I like it.
Yeah.
She.
I mean,
like,
they are related one way or
when,
another.
when Fate Extra at the end of Fate Extra, if you saved Rin,
Hmm.
when you have to make the big choice, when she leaves the simulator, she has blonde hair.
Yep.
And who else has blonde hair?
Livia.
I mean, a lot of people do, but I mean, like this is Fate. Like it has to be like everyone is related.
Hmm. I mean, Rin and Luvia are already distantly related, regardless, if possibly be things. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why Luvia has beef with Rin, because supposedly because of the Third Grail War, the Tosaka family managed to gain the crest from their
They pretty
family.
much fucked them over, yeah.
Yeah, their special crest, which supposedly two people can have at a time. So, maybe, I guess Tokiomi just didn't know. I mean, not Tokyo. Yes, Tokyo. Sakura's dad, I guess, just didn't know about that special ability and decided to sell off one of his kids anyway.
Hmm. Because he's a prick.
Hmm. But yeah. But let's get into Fate Grand Order.
Grand Order. Oh god, you're not gonna make me break down Fate Grand Order. Alright, now we're truly in hell. So Fate Go is a mobile gacha game along with some anime adaptations where the first Holy Grail War never happened, the world is fucked for some reason, and you have got to...
Incorrect! The Grail Wars did happen. In fact, Ansbury there, Mari's daddy, won a Grail War with Solomon.
Well, he said the first one didn't happen.
Well, you have to. If you don't have the first one, you can't have the fifth one, because he had participated in the fourth and the fifth Grail War, from what I understand.
I mean, it's possible that but what he meant by that was like that what we consider the second Grail War was in this timeline the first one.
Maybe.
I could be completely wrong though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't think that. I mean, some of the comments down below. I'm not going to go down below, but some of the comments are saying that
that's hell you're walking into.
Some say that is they're like, no, there were Grail Wars in thing. In fact, that's what set off Chaldea in the first
travel back
place.
in time to various points in history to fix the fucking timeline. And every different timeline you fix is called singularities. Basically, imagine Fate Back to the Future, except there are like 7 sequels, all with different diverging timelines, and you're not trying to fuck your mum, you're just trying to fuck all the servants. Alright, so for simplicity's sake, I think it would just be easier if I just draw out the Fate Go timeline. And then here in its own corner is just Fate Prototype, which is Kinoko Nasu's original concept for Fate, where King Arthur's actually a guy? Get out of here with your damn historical inaccuracies.
There you go.
So
There's
essentially, this is just
where's
a non-existent
Where's
project.
Male King
The
Arthur?
only thing
Here
that
you go.
exists is a 12-minute trailer that was made purely for fan service. Which is even more bizarre when you consider Fate Prototype Fragments of Sky Silver, which is the prequel to Fate Prototype. They made a prequel, a full light novel prequel, to a 12-minute commercial. Like, did I really think Fate fans are that
like
hungry
if there was
for
a trailer
content?
for Star Wars and
A
then
Type
George
Moon
Lucas
just
made
sitting
the
there being
prequels.
like, all right, Fate fans, open wide. Content. Give me anything. And then this prequel to a project that basically doesn't even exist has a side story called Fate Labyrinth. A side story! This is why Tsukihime fans are on suicide watch. You can tell that line was written months ago because, yeah, where the fuck did this come from? And all this would be a completely alternate universe with no connection to the original universe, but I shit you not, one of the characters has a dream that connects this universe to the Fate Stay Night universe.
Yeah. I'll explain it. So in that dream, basically, Monica possesses a girl with red hair who is supposedly taking place in a timeline that's similar to the Apocrypha Grail Wars, where there are Grail Wars taking place in different countries. I guess in this one you were allowed to summon a couple servants or whatever instead of just one. So like that person had like Medea, Otoria, Robin Hood, and I can't remember any of the other ones. Hassan, maybe? I don't know. Uh, so it was an interesting cast of characters, regardless.
Different Grail Wars in different countries. Like I'm thinking of like that scene from Doctor Strangelove at the very end where he's like, we cannot allow the Russians to get into a mole man arms race.
No.
And it's just like we cannot allow other countries to get into a Holy Grail arms race.
Yep, pretty much. So.
My Fiona and I can walk.
Also, Gray shows up in that thing. So.
It's literally
Because why
canon, my
not?
dream. Alright, I think we're getting close to the end. Next is Fate Strange Fake. This
Here
is
we
a
go.
light novel
Yeah, here we
series that takes
go.
place after the Fifth Holy Grail War
This
in
one I
America,
actually
where they
wanna-
do
this
their
one I
own
wanna
Holy
watch.
Grail
I
War.
can't
with
wait for this
hookers and
one.
blackjack, written by the same guy who did Bakano. As of recording,
translated.
we don't know if this follows on from the main flagship timeline or was part of an alternate universe, but what we do know.
I do know that it has to take place after the Fifth Holy Grail War.
Well, it says 2009.
Yeah, it takes place after the Fifth Holy Grail War. Basically, because Gilgamesh has to be Capuzzo to get summoned over here. So
I have to wonder.
that's a good time. But Caster Gil could probably exist in the same timeline. That Archer Gil is still around. But
I have to wonder though because is this not? This is still going on, isn't it?
yes, this Fate Strange Fake is still being written. They want to
I
make
wonder
an
if it's like-
anime out of it. But the author is like, not until I finish it. Don't you dare fucking animate it
Oh,
until
good,
I'm
that's good,
done.
that's good. It's like I saw what you bastards did with Bakano. You never gave it a second season. We're not pulling that shit on me again.
Yeah. He's like,
I do
no.
have to wonder though if this is going to get like the same kind of technology creep that his other works had, because like in Durarara, it's set in 2001, but one of the characters has like a fucking iPhone
Maybe.
because it began in 2001 and it's still going.
Yeah. So. Possibly.
Yeah, the guy who wrote Bakano, great author.
Yeah.
Always looking forward to whatever he has to contribute.
Great author, and from what I understand, is basically he has taken the Apocrypha premise and made it a lot better because he's actually
Done it
giving
well.
breathing room for the characters to be characters. Flat is also in this one, so it's interesting to see his character get built up. He also has an interesting servant, so I don't.
He honestly didn't do much in Rail Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yep, he was just there. Basically, he's one of the characters like Luvia who makes a cameo in almost every single thing, but they don't really do much with him. I think he's
also a Keat. If you know what that if you don't know what that means, go to TV Tropes, type in Keet.
But so far, yeah, this is, from what I can gather of this one, this is interesting. What does Giga have
Is
to
that
say
there's a
about it?
servant called Watcher, and it's literally just a fucking whale in the sky. I'm sorry, I must have missed the legend where a fucking flying whale saves Earth. Does Free
something
Willy
out of
count as a
Discworld.
legendary hero of history now?
Yes.
There's Fate type Redline. It's Tokyo in the 1940s, not
So, yes. Yeah, Fate.
Bloody as fuck.
Yep. So yeah, the whale. That's why I can't wait. But supposedly the whale is a servant who is yet to be, from my understanding, or it's going to turn into a servant or something like that because it keeps.
It's the whale from. It's gonna end up being the whale from Pinocchio.
Maybe, but it's because supposedly it keeps like sending out. Fake ghosty servants or something. I think one of them was Archimedes or something.
Oh God, no wait. Oh fuck. This is the premise from the fourth Star Trek movie. It's summoning a probe to Earth to disrupt everything and drown the world.
Maybe.
Oh my God. Turns out that Fate Strange Fake is actually just a stealth prequel to The Voyage Home.
Maybe. Anyway, Redline.
Nuclear vessels.
So I feel like Redline we have to stop to mention here that Redline was originally a 4-coma gag series before they decided to make it a serious version because they realized, we have a lot of content in here that could actually be made into a really good story.
People like these character designs.
Yeah, people like these characters. Basically, you can see, images of where characters who used to be filled in by other people in the series.
Nazis are at it again, but this time so are the
For
Japanese.
example, I believe right here that's Berserker Servant. Can you guess who he was played by in our Koha Ace version of it?
I do not know.
If you guessed Shinji Mato, you were correct.
Well, he does have the Siwi hair.
Yeah, so like as you can see, like all the characters still kind of have like remnants of like.
Man, I can't believe Shinji ended up being a Nazi.
Yeah, it's not that surprising though. Not really.
Military. It's the third Grail War with seemingly no other connections to any other Grails, and it's a manga drawn by the Demon Slayer mangaka. We got Fate Requiem. Not a lot about this is known right now because it's not been officially translated, but what we
This is another one that ties into Star Trek. This
Basically.
time, Star Trek 1.
Okay, Fate Requiem. We're gonna listen to what he has to say, and then I'll try and talk about it because I've read some things, and I'll try to explain, hopefully. I'm probably gonna spoil things, but I don't think anything major has really been jaw-droppingly thing because I believe this is also still. There's only one. I think there's only like one novel officially out so far, and it's continuing. So
do know
me to
is
the
that it's set in the
carbon
future
unit.
after some kind of Holy Grail war, and somehow everyone has their own Holy Grail. And
Basically,
also
it's a
there's
Mary
this new
Sue
servant
story.
called Voyager, who I guess is the Voyager space probe, except I have no fucking clue
that's
how
the
a
theme of
space
Star
probe
Trek
becomes a
Voyager.
servant, let alone a blonde Shota boy, let alone a blonde Shota boy space probe servant. And don't tell me to
Usually
worry
sounds the
about
best.
it, because I'm not. Can you see how much I'm not worrying about it? I am not worrying about it. But seriously, how the fuck? And finally,
okay, so from what I understand is somebody won a Grail War, made a wish, and it allowed everybody to own a Grail in their heart or some bullshit like that. Our protagonist of that series, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, does not have a Grail of her own, according to. Which might make sense because supposedly she is the creation of some guy fucking their servant and she was born from that servant. So it would make sense that she wouldn't have a servant because she's half servant.
Ah, so this is why you don't like the series, because we've always argued that servants and people can't have children.
Well, how can a ghost have a kid?
I don't know.
They don't.
Feels like,
They don't
this feels like
technically
something that
have-
would happen in Danny Phantom.
They technically don't have corporal. They have a corporal body, but technically it doesn't make any. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but basically it's like it's like Tom fucker. It's like also everybody
There's
having
some
a
fuckery
servant.
going on, all right.
Every single
There's some
person in the
fuckery
world
going on.
having a servant doesn't fucking make a lick of sense. I mean, I could work for like an MMO or something where my suspension of disbelief.
It's
is-
like the ending to Digimon 02, where like everyone in the world has a Digimon.
Yeah. It's like, and I'm like, but how a Grail works, it doesn't make any sense. Basically a servant is like their destined partner or something like that. When they're born, their servant appears and is their bestie for their life or something like that. So, like, the way that servants work, so if Monica's father had a servant from the time he was born, then that lady's a cradle robber. Sorry. Because she
Oh,
would have
Jesus.
been the same age and would not have aged because she's a servant. And they do not age because they're not real people.
Okay, so yeah, it falls apart when you actually put thought into it.
Yeah. So like a lot of this thing falls apart. But it might be not as it might be okay written. Because like some of the insiders have said that Fate Requiem is probably taking place on a timeline that's going to be culled, and supposedly our protagonist is the person who's probably going to end up doing it. So basically, it's a doomed timeline. Everybody's probably going to die. So it might be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, and you're like, well, where does that logic come from? Well, every time in the Type Moon universe where humanity becomes stagnant and does not develop past a certain point, it gets ripped off the tree, basically. They're like, nope.
If, in case we needed any more evidence that the visual novel rewrite is a ripoff of Fate, because that is exactly what happens in that visual novel.
In a bubble within its own fucking dimension is Carnival Phantasm, where all the Fate characters and other characters from Nasu's other works are just hanging out, I guess. Doesn't make any sense. I have no idea where this fits on the timeline. I think this is just a bubble reality where Akasha got fucking drunk. And that's it. That is the long version.
No, it's not.
Kinda. Oh, but Giga, what about the rest of the Nazi verse? You gonna do that as well? How about no? Originally, this was meant to be a grand video where it talks about all the funny and ridiculous things I found out about Fate lore as a whole. But when I started it, I kind of realized I'm gonna need 20 minutes just to explain the fucking timeline. So you know what? This may just be the first part in a multi-series lecture from hell. Because the worst thing
I don't
about
have any
Fate
water. Stop
is that
repeating the
after
drink,
going
bitch.
through all the timelines, after connecting all the lore, after spending far too many hours consuming Fate media and reading pages upon pages of wiki articles, it kind of makes sense. Oh god, this chart actually makes sense to me. The entire timeline is actually the simplest part of Fate lore. Fate is just an all-encompassing hole that just gets darker and gloomier the deeper you go down. People wonder what's at the bottom of the abyss in Made in Abyss. It's just the fucking entrance to the Fate hole. You want the real short version, Fate newcomers? You watch either of these two, and then watch this, and then watch whatever the fuck you want. Or you know what? Fuck all this.
Fuck all this.
Start with the spin-off series. Start with lesbian lollies kissing. Start with Fate MasterChef. Fuck. Start with the Dojinshis for all I care. Just ignore all the shitstorm going on in the comment section right now. The reality is, it doesn't really matter where you start. As long as it looks interesting to you, then go for it. The problem is, there's so many people who are obsessed with optimizing the perfect read and watch order that
he's come to the same conclusion that
if
we
you
have.
enjoy the experience and it gets
do
you
what
into
you-
Fate,
just do what you
then
wanna
who
do.
the fuck cares what order you
that
watch it
picture on
in?
a poster.
Because look,
Yeah.
memes aside, the Fate lore may be a convoluted mess to unravel, but it is an awesome
I saw
franchise.
Astolfo
It's a
in that
series
one.
that can have amazing fights with balls to the walls action and magical moments that cut deep into your heart. And then Thomas Edison shows up as a lion. Because if you've reached the end of this video knowing nothing about Fate, and this is the video that's convinced you to give it a try, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's also what we've been saying.
You're interested in Fate? Oh god, why didn't you just listen to me the first time and go with the short version? You know what? Fuck this. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing Fate anymore. I'm literally gonna go crazy. You know what? I lied. This isn't even the long version. Hey guys, I really hope
that's
you
about it.
enjoyed that
Yep,
video.
that's about it. That's it.
So I think to sum it up, basically,
He came to the same conclusions as we did at the end, though.
I actually had an epiphany while I was watching this, and it was thanks in part to the comments that we had. So it takes the Fate as a whole takes the spiritualistic ideas of Star Wars and combines it with some of the high concept, like technical ideas of Star Trek. Fate is the Star Wars Star Trek crossover.
Fate? Maybe. Possibly.
Fucking hell.
I mean,
It's never happened. It happened.
what did you
without us
think
even
Saber
knowing.
Wars was, Azure? What did you think the Saber Wars event was? It was a whole Star Wars parody.
It was a stealth prequel to the High Republic.
I've always considered Type Moon just basically the DC version of Japan's universe anyway, because basically in DC in DC all the same things basically exist. There's, you know, King Arthur and stuff that exists in DC.
Aliens.
There's magic, there's aliens. It basically has all the same stuff combined into one continuous thing.
Type Moon just has more lollies.
Yeah, Type Moon just has. True. I'm sure they exist somewhere in DC too. DC also has magical girls. Did you know that?
I mean, I was aware of a few of DC's like kid characters.
Well,
I
not
guess
like not like magical girl, like young girl per se. Basically, they had
Isn't
Princess Amethyst before, like the magical girl genre was really popular. It's an isekai magical girl series.
you know what? I'm actually familiar with that because
Yeah.
Linkara has talked about it a few times.
Yeah, it's an isekai magical girl series that existed before they. And I'm like, and I'm like, and why is DC not properly doing this stuff? Oh, right, because they're too busy being with doing politics. And I'm like, you could do a pretty good reboot of this thing if you just drop the politics. I'm just saying.
And they're also like they're also like trying to win this ridiculous war against Zack Snyder. Yeah, like it does. Like it's funny because like pretty much everything that Star Wars gets criticized for, but is something that they didn't actually do. But it is something that DC did.
Yeah, it is something that DC did. At least Star Wars hasn't gotten too political yet.
It honestly hasn't. I mean, like unless your politics are there's a transgender person in the story and that bothers me. Unless that's what your politics are, it's not political.
Yeah. But no, DC's gone political. It's very, very political. Marvel is kind of swung that way too. I wish they did.
It's funny because like when so I've actually been reading the High Republic books, and like when they were announced, like everyone's like, oh, there's just like they're trying to make the Jedi and the Republic into these Mary Sues, but it's like no, like after the very first book, it's like, oh wow, like the main characters are actually acknowledging that the Jedi have like these flaws, the same flaws that lead to their downfall in the prequels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dun 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 dun.
But yeah, I could have a whole conversation about Star Wars. We don't need to do that here.
But yeah, at least Star Wars has kept contained within their own politics. And they're like, but everything has politics. Yes, everything does have politics. But the problem is it doesn't have to be preachy politics. It's like if you want to like sway someone to your side, you tell a story in a like meaningful way within your own context of the story, not just let's commentary on the things that's happening in real life, but then put it in a comic with superheroes.
Right. I mean, like, you could probably argue that there is some kind of political messaging in these Star Wars books, but it's like they're setting up this mystery with the main villain and all this shit, and it's just like that is what's keeping me engaged.
Right.
Which, is what a story should do.
Yes. However, DC and Marvel, as far as I know, are probably both bankrupt, and they're probably not going to be around much longer because, of course, the government will probably bail them out because they're too big to fail. But
because Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They might just, if I was Disney, I would just, since I'm already in hot water, I would just chop off the comics off my arm and get it off me before it festers anymore. Just chop it off and focus on the movies. At least you're doing something still entertaining for the most part. I don't really know what WandaVision was about, but somebody summed it up really, really good. Like if they had kept the mystery of what was going on with Wanda for a few more episodes, it probably would have landed better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Loki was fine.
Yeah, Loki's fine.
I have nothing bad to say about the Loki show.
Yep. Remember, guys, the only person that Loki will fuck is himself. I mean, what? No!
No. That's masturbation. I feel like you probably learn a lot about someone if you ask them, would you fuck a clone of yourself?
If the answer is yes, God help us all.
Mm-hmm.
God help us all.
And if the answer is no, it's like, what, you just gonna let this opportunity pass you by?
Yeah.
I think that says something. I think that says something subconsciously about you.
Mm-hmm. You either hate yourself or you love yourself too much. That's the moral of the story. Anyway, we've veered off topic. So we have this has been one of our longer live streams. Wow, I thought this was going to be short, but picking this apart has been really fun. But anyway, I hope you've all gotten the point of how Tight Moon there isn't really every time you think you know something, you don't know something, and how things are not as
it is fun to listen to other people talk about it too.
Yeah, it is fun to listen
which
to.
Which is I think why part of the reason people watch us.
Yep.
Or a handful of people watch us.
Yes, thank you all for the 7 people who at peak prime time who's dropped by, and now all of our lurkers who are 4 of you, I believe. One of those are probably Azure. So 3 of you.
I do have the stream open so I can see the chat.
Yep. So thank you all so much for stopping by and listening to us talk about somebody else's opinion on how the timeline works. As you can see, like how I have a differences of opinion in the fact that I honestly don't believe Cooking with the Emmys is actually canon, but Giga clearly does believe it's canon. So
sometimes people are wrong.
Yeah, sometimes you're wrong, Azure. Oh yeah.
I will not be silenced.
And like, look, do you think that Fate Extra comic where the Hakanos become babies is canon?
It absolutely is canon. I'll tell you what happened. Tamamo probably tried to pull some bullshit and it backfired and it turned the Hakanos into children.
Yes, but both genders existing at the same time?
Why not?
Oh wait. Thank you guys for joining us again tonight. I wish we knew how to say goodbye.
That's even easier to explain, actually. You take your mouse, you right-click on the Hakano, and then you right-click again and you hit paste.
And then you change the X chromosome to a Y chromosome. There you go.
You can do, if you right-click, you can do that in properties.
You better not be drying yourself off on my bed. God damn it, Jet.
And, Gigak, if you do see this and you've made it this far in the video, just know we do love you. We love your content.
We do love your content. We think you're great. The fact that you went into all this stuff, even though I'm saying some of these parts are wrong, it's just me being a Tight Moon. This is how all Tight Moon fans interact with each other.
Yes.
This is canonically how we interact. In fact, the reason that prompted me to make this stream was because someone was telling me I was wrong when I was making a dumb comment in this video. So, F you 3 million viewers who watch Giguk, although I think this video is only at 1 million. So, F you 1 million people who watch this video.
Oh, geez, just a measly 1 million.
Yes.
I bet he doesn't pull in the numbers like we do.
Yeah, we get 4 people. We're so cool.
Yeah. And that's the number. 4 is the number of death. That just makes us metal.
Oh, thank you guys so much for joining us. Sorry that since this is more of a podcast that we don't interact with you guys as much. But we try. Are we good for tomorrow?
I'm good for tomorrow.
Oh, good
Are we
doing, all right.
Doing 2 hours?
Yep, 2 hours straight. We'll start at 7. So we're starting at 7 again for our Star Wars stream.
For our Fate Wizards. I'm sorry, I mean Sith Lords.
Yeah, Sith Lords. So we'll be conquering the universe yet again tomorrow.
Although tomorrow we'll be although we're still in prison, so
yeah,
we have to deal with the prison first.
Yeah. Gotta get
It's the prison arc.
Yeah, we're in prison arc. We gotta start up the prison arc so we can get to the tournament arc, you know?
Yep. That's going to be I know what's coming, and the tournament arc is going to be the planet Corellia.
Okay, for realsies this time, we're gonna say goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Sayonara for now.
Bye-bye.